So let me share the screen 1 second. So we had studied Ohm's law in the last class. Does everyone remember what is Ohm's law? Or you did not touch the physics book after the last class? What does the Ohm's law say? If we draw a voltage and current graph, it will be a straight line like this. What does it mean? Voltage is directly proportional to current, which is nothing but V by I is a constant. And what is this constant called? V by I? We call it as resistance R. Okay. Fine. So after that, we learned also that the unit of resistance is ohms, written by the letter omega, the Greek letter. And 1 ohm is the resistance when 1 voltage of potential difference is applied and 1 ampere of current flows through it.
Sir,
Yes.
you started, sir?
Yes, just started. We just quick overview of the last class, whatever we did. We discussed about Ohm's law. That's what we were
Yes, sir.
talking about. So we have not started the new topic.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we learned one thing in last class, that in the Ohm's law, whatever constant of proportionality we get, that is nothing but resistance. But what is a resistance? Resistance is just like the name. Just by seeing the name, you understand, right? Resistance could mean what? Resistance will be whenever current is trying to flow through the conductor. Let's say the conductor is a copper wire and the current is trying to flow through it. Whenever current flows through something, what does it mean? The positive charge flowing from one side to another. Let's say my current is flowing from left to right this way. What does it mean? It means that positive charge will go from left to right. But inside a conductor, positive charge does not move. What moves instead? Free electrons. So we will not consider the positive charge movement, we'll consider the negative charge movement. And the negative charge will move in the opposite direction to the flow of the current. So electrons are trying to move in opposite direction, this direction. And whenever some electrons are trying to move, there are lots of atoms inside the conductor. And these atoms, they have their own charge and they occupy some space. So because of that, the flow of electrons will be restricted. Now, how much it will be restricted depends on the material, what material it is made up of. That everybody knows, right? If it is a copper wire, is it a very good conductor of electricity or bad conductor? Anybody knows?
It's a good conductor, sir.
Yes, all metals in fact are good conductors. You would have studied that. And if I had a piece of wood or a plastic, if this is, let's say, plastic, what will happen to the flow of electrons through this plastic? Plastic is a good conductor or bad conductor?
No, sir.
Bad
It's not a good
conductor, sir.
conductor, sir.
Yes. And do you know why it is a bad conductor? It is a bad conductor because the resistance to the flow of current is very, very high. What's happening? The resistance is very high. But in the metals which are good conductors, the resistance will be very low. So now you have understood how this resistance is related to some material being a good conductor or a bad conductor. So whenever something is a very good conductor, the resistance will be low for good conductors. And if it is a bad conductor,
It is high, sir.
the resistance is very high.
I
Fine. So this relation is also clear to you. Let me- Okay. Then what else we have to learn? We have to learn what are the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. So just by common sense, what do you think will be the factors on which the resistance of a conductor may depend? Can anyone make some guesses? Let's say this is some material. What do you think will, what is it that matters over here? What factors do you think will change the,
Temperature.
okay, yes, temperature makes a difference. Oh, I think I also gave you an activity to find out whether temperature, how it affects the resistance. Did you people do any research about that? Okay, fine. So let's leave that right now. Temperature is one of the factors, but when you are considering this factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends, for your 10th standard, you will consider that the temperature is constant. Let's say for a constant temperature, what are the other factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends? Any other ideas? Anybody knows anything? What is it that may, what is it that would change the resistance of anything? There are three factors. There are three factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. So the first factor which I would like to call you is the material itself. The material of the conductor. If it is copper, it will have certain resistance. If it is made up of plastic or wood, it will have different resistance. Everybody agrees? The material, what it is made up of, that is a factor on which the resistance will depend. Correct?
okay, sir.
Okay, so that one thing is apart. Now we have understood that material. So now within the material itself, let's say I take one particular material, copper. Now in this copper itself, what are the other factors? What can change the resistance? Anybody knows?
Mm,
Let's say this is a road. You are going on a road. There is huge traffic. There's huge traffic. And you have to go from point A to point B. Think of yourself as electron. You have to go from point A to point B. What are the things that will matter? The thickness of this road, will that matter or not?
Yes, sir.
How wide
Yes,
this
sir.
road is? So how wide this road is? The wider the road, the resistance will be more or it will be less?
Less, sir.
Less, because the wider the road is, you'll have more space to cross through it. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in the analogy what I gave you about the road and the traffic, we are calling it as the width of the road. But what will be this in this in
Width
the
of the
conductor?
wire, sir.
Yes. And what is the width of a wire normally? What is it called? Can we call it as width? Is it a flat surface wire?
Circumference, sir.
Diameter, sir.
Yes. Diameter is one of the things, but area,
Circumference.
the cross
Okay,
section,
yes.
area of cross section, which directly depends on the diameter, of course. So that's what the thickness of the wire. You can call it as the thickness or the diameter or the cross section, area of cross section. This one. The bigger the area, there will be more space for the charge to pass through. The resistance will be lesser. So the second factor is area of cross section. This is what we call it in scientific terms. Whatever we called as the width of the road or the thickness of the wire, those are common language terms. But in terms of science, we'll call it as area of cross section. But both of them exactly mean the same thing. Right? If the thickness is more, only then the area will be more, right? If the thickness is less, area will be less. What is the formula for area? What kind of area will this wire have? The wire of the cross section?
Area
of circle.
circle.
Cylinder, sir.
Circle. Everybody knows when I say cross section, you understand what a cross section means, right? When
Yes, sir.
cross section means when you cut that wire, what kind of face or the surface you will see over there? It will be a circle.
Circle.
Yeah, and the circle has what is the area of a circle? Pi r square.
Pi r square.
Yes, so that is what we'll be using. But since normally the radius of the wire will not be given, in some questions they may give you radius also, but most questions they'll give you the diameter. Why diameter? Because diameter is the thickness of the wire. That's why you should always remember the same area formula in terms of diameter. What will be it? Pi d square by 4. You people know this formula also, right? Pi r square can also be written as pi d square by 4. That is the area of a circle again, where d is the thickness of the wire. So we have understood that the two factors so far, one is the material, and once we know what material it is, area of cross section also matters. The bigger the area, resistance will be less. Now, what else can be a factor? Use your top floor, think what can happen. Think about the
Length, sir.
Yes, absolutely. If you think about the same road analogy, the further apart your A and B are, if this A and B are very short distance, then even though traffic is there, still you will take very less time to pass through it, right? But if they are very, very far apart, if the length is very, very long, then you'll face more resistance. You'll have to pass through more traffic, more difficulties. Same thing we can use in this problem also, and that is the length of the wire. That length will be calling as the length of the wire or the conductor, whatever it is. So these are the three factors on which resistance of a conductor depends: the material, area of cross section, and the length of wire. So this I told you theoretically, but let's see this in the scientific terms, what that really means. Okay. So just now I told you that if the length is more length means resistance will be more. Shorter length means
Resistance will be less.
resistance will be less. So what is the relation between length and resistance? Are they directly proportional or inversely proportional?
Directly proportional, sir.
Yes, length is directly proportional
sir.
to radius. Let's call this as our first thing. Now, about the area of cross section, let's call it, represent with the letter A or a capital A. Now, if the area is more, the resistance will be more or less? Bigger area. If A is more, resistance will be more or less?
Less, sir.
Yes, less. When the area is more, resistance is less. When the area is less, the resistance is more. So now tell me, what is the relation between area and resistance? What kind of proportion will it be?
Inversely proportional.
Yes, inversely proportional. And in mathematics, how do you write inversely proportional? Is A is proportional to 1 by A. When you put A in the denominator, then that means it becomes
1 by R, sir.
Oh yeah. R is actually, I wrote it ulta. Hold on, guys. I wrote ulta here. R is directly proportional to length and R is inversely proportional to area. This is how we should write it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Everybody is okay with this? Resistance is directly proportional to area. Resistance is inversely proportional to area. Okay, fine. So we have just now I told you that there are three factors on which it depends, but right now I have only told you two factors, length and area. How to include that third factor, which is a material? For that, again, a constant comes into picture. Just like we have always known this, right? Whenever we have, let's say, okay, leave it. Yeah. So whenever we have a proportionality, let's combine these two first of all, 1 and 2. How can I write it? R is proportional to L in the numerator and area in the denominator. Can I combine 1 and 2 like this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you also know that whenever if I remove this proportionality symbol and I write it equal to,
It's a
what do I?
constant.
We have to put a constant over here. So some constant, let's say constant into L by A. But instead of writing the const like this, can I put some variable? That
Yes,
variable is a very specific variable which is called, written by a Greek letter rho, like written like this, rho.
Oh, okay, sir.
This is nothing but R in Greek letter, small r actually, not capital R. This is small r in Greek letter. So don't get intimidated by this Greek letter rho.
How did you write that, sir? Row.
Rho is written like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you can.
Sir, Hindi's 9 also is written like this only, sir.
Yes, yes, very much like that. But the tail will be slightly longer. Most of the places you'll see something like this. Okay, so this is a rho. Now, this rho is a constant which depends on the material, which means that if you take the copper material, this rho value will be some constant value. Okay, for all the copper in the world anywhere, copper will have a particular rho value. Same way, if I take iron, it will have a particular rho value. Wood will have a particular rho value. Every material has a specific rho value. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, all that said, I have said rho and all that, but what is this rho called? Can I keep calling this as a rho? Everything has a name, right? This R is called resistance, L is called length, capital A is the area of cross section. What do you think would be the name of this rho? This rho has a specific name and it's called resistivity.
Okay, sir.
Okay, resistivity. That's the name of the constant in this. So what does it mean? Every material has a fixed resistivity. So if you know the resistivity of anything, then that means know what material it is.
Sir, will this row will be given in the exam?
Yes,
Like
always. You
offers.
don't have to mug up that rho value,
Okay,
of
sir.
course.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Whenever there's a question related to this, either they will ask you to find out based on all other values. They'll give you everything else and then they'll ask you to find rho value, or they'll give you the rho value in the question itself. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So now we have understood all the three factors. Now this formula, what is there in front of you? This formula combines this formula combines all the three factors on which the resistance depends. Okay. R is equal to rho L by A. It's a very, very important formula. Remember it all the time. Fine. So let's go back to the book now. Yeah, so this is what you will see over here. They have mentioned, see, R is directly proportional to length, and R is inversely proportional to area. When you combine it, you can write it as R is proportional to L by A. And then in form of equality, you can write it as R is equal to rho L by A. Okay, in your book, you are seeing rho written like this, straight line like this. Okay, some kind of a P. But in different books, in different fonts, the rho value may look slightly different, something like this or whatever. Okay, so you should
Okay, sir.
Okay. Rho is a constant of proportionality and it is called the electrical resistivity or the resistivity in simple. We can call it as electrical resistivity of a material. And what is the SI unit of resistivity?
Ohm.
No, SI unit of resistance is ohm. Don't confuse resistance with resistivity. Resistance is different, resistivity is different. So just now we said R is equal to rho L by A, correct? So what will be the unit of R? It will be ohm. Let's leave our rho as it is, or otherwise what we can do, instead of putting the units before itself, find the formula for rho. What will be rho? Rho will be equal to R into capital A by L, correct? Now try to fill in all the units. R has a unit of ohm, area will be in meter square, and the length will be in meters. So this meter and one of the meters will get cancelled. What will be remaining? Ohm
into meter.
Sir, that ohm symbol looks like omega, sir.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it is. It is actually omega only.
Okay, sir.
This is the Greek letter omega. Okay, so yeah. So what is the unit of resistivity then? Ohm meter. Remember this. Fine. What else? The SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. It is a characteristic property of a material. What does this mean? It means that resistivity depends, it is a property of a material. So if for any given material, it will have a fixed resistivity. That is what that sentence means. Oh, did I start? Yeah. Fine. The metals and alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 to the power minus 8 ohm meters. There's a table given to you in over here. You see 12.2 table, very nice colorful table. This is arranged in the order of resistivity of the material. Can you see this resistivity is very, very low? Silver, it has a very, very low resistivity. So some material which has very low resistivity, what does it mean? It will have a very, very low resistance also for a given size and area of cross section. If we take the same length and same area of cross section of a wire, then out of all these materials, which material will have the least resistance? Which will have the minimum resistance? Silver. Why silver? Because we know that R is equal to rho L by A. So L and A I am saying same. I told you that length is same, area of cross section is also same. So these two are not going to matter now. What matters? Only rho matters. Okay. So if the rho value is very small, the resistance will be very small. If the rho value is very high, the resistance will also be very high. So all these relations depends. You should always keep in mind that only if length and area is constant, then R and rho depend like this. Keeping length and area constant, if the rho value is very small, R will be very small. If the rho is very, very big, resistance will also be very big. So just now you can, in front of you in this table, you can see and tell me what is the material which has the highest resistance?
Paper, sir.
Paper, sir.
Yes.
Dry paper.
Yeah, dry paper has a very, very high resistance. Even more than some other materials like diamond, okay, glass, nichrome, all those things. Yeah.
What is the resistance of rubber, sir?
Okay. See, hard rubber they have given over here, right? Hard rubber has a resistance of the order of 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 16. Of the order means like it is close to that, something around that.
Okay. So it should be more, no, sir. 10 to the power 13. From 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 16.
Okay, hold on. That is 10 to the power 13 and this is only 10 to the power 12. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Then
sir,
of course
that's why,
ebonite
sir.
will have more resistance. Yes, that is true. So that's what I mean. Depends on whatever is the resistivity. If the resistivity is high, resistance will also be high for a particular given length and area of cross section. Okay, and this does not mean that this is the highest resistance. There are other materials which may have even higher resistance. Okay, these are the only few things which are mentioned over here. Conductors, insulators. So that's what you have. And you don't have to remember these values. This will be given to you in the question. And also remember, I told you that all these values are for a constant temperature. If you change the temperature, then also these resistivity values will change. These values are measured at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you are not supposed to know what will happen at 21 degrees Celsius or any other temperature. Any question you get, even in your board exam, it will be related to this, and whatever, even if it is related to this or not, doesn't matter. You should not worry about the temperature as of now. You should only know that the resistance of a conductor or even the resistivity depends on the temperature also. If you change the temperature, resistivity will change. That you should know. Okay. Fine. What else? Yeah, let's take up this question. 12.3. What does it say? How much current will an electric bulb draw from a 220 volt source? So the potential difference of the source is given as 220 volts. They are saying how much current it will be drawing. If the resistance of the bulb is given as 120 ohms. So in this question, what all is given? V is given. What is the question? 12.3 example. Okay. So they have given us 220 volts and they also gave us resistance 1200 ohms, correct? And they're asking us to find what? I. Which formula do you think we'll have to use here?
Sir, current is equal to Q by that one, sir. No, sir. C by
I is
Q.
equal to V by R.
Yes, we have to use the Ohm's law. Ohm's law. Ohm's law says that V is equal to IR, which means I will be equal to V by R. So you should know that. So we'll say I is equal to V by R. V is nothing but 220 and R is 1200. Cancel it. What will you get?
11 by 60, sir.
Okay. So I'm not going to sit and do the calculation. Let's take a look what answer is there. So it will be 11 by 60, whatever, it will be 0.18. So this is what you will be doing, 0.18. And what will be the unit of current?
Ampere, sir.
Yes, amperes. When you have taken the voltage in V, volts, and the resistance in ohms, your current will be amperes. Okay, that's the first part of the question. I think there is one more part. Let's see. How much current will an electric heater coil draw from 220 volt source if the resistance of the heater is 100 ohms? So if the resistance was 100 and the same 220 volt was there, so in this case, V is 220, same 220 volts. So this is for bulb. This is your A. This is for the heater. Yeah. And what was the resistance? 100 ohms. So I, same thing, V by R, that is 220 by 100, which is 2.2
2.
amperes. Okay. So you see from the bulb, actually practically also this happens, very small amount of current, which is 0.18 ohms, this much current flows. But from an electric heater, which has a low resistance, more amount of current flows, 2.2 amperes. For the same potential difference, you're seeing, right? Potential difference is same. If the resistance is more resistance, less current. That is common sense, right?
Yes, sir.
If the resistance is more, if the potential difference is same, that means you are trying to do the same amount of work. If you apply more force, more amount of work, then of course current may change. But that's the thing. I mean, if you have the same voltage, then more resistance means less current, less resistance means more current. Okay. We can take one more example. The potential difference, the next example says, the potential difference between the terminals of an electric heater is 60 volt. So V they have given us. V is 60 volt. And what else? It draws a current of 4 amperes. So current is also given I, that it is 4 amperes. What current will the heater draw if the potential difference is increased to 120 volts? There's, let's say this first one, let's call it as V1. So in this case, 60 volts is there. We want to, if we increase the potential difference to 120 volts, they're asking what will be the new current, I2. Let's call this was I1. What will be I2? Anybody has any idea? Don't look at the answer.
Sir, I already saw the answer, sir. What to do?
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I should have high. Fine. So in the first case, what happens? You have been given the V and I, right? Potential difference and current. Can you find out the resistance?
Yes, sir.
So once you know what is the resistance of this electric heater, then that resistance is not going to change. You know, right? As long as you are using the same heater, that means you are using the same material, same length, same area of cross section, correct? So once you find the resistance using any formula, any situation, once you know the resistance, whatever it is, that resistance will apply to all different cases, unless they tell you that, okay, I'm going to cut the wire, make it shorter, or add some more wire, make it thicker, or change the material of the wire. If these things they tell, then of course resistance will change. But in this case, they are not doing anything. They're telling that there is an electric heater. That means same electric heater will have same resistance in all the situations. So using this first situation, we can find out the resistance. Resistance will be nothing but B is equal to IR. So R is equal to V by I. Okay. So when the voltage was 60, the current was 4. So resistance will be 60 by 4, which is 15 ohms, as you can see here. Now we can use this resistance in this question. We will know resistance is equal to 15 and potential difference V is also known. Can I not find out I? I will be
Yes,
nothing
sir.
but V by R.
V by R.
So we can take it 120 by 15, which will be 8 ohms. Everybody understands these calculations, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Okay, let's take up one more. Actually, try to solve this on your own. Resistance of a metal
Sir.
wire. Yeah.
We can do like V1 by I1 is equal to V2 by I2, sir.
Yes, of course, you can do that. But we did not know what is the I2, right? Yeah, actually you can find directly also. Yes, you're right. In this, they are only asking us to find the current, no? The resistance is going to be same. So actually most of the cases that is what we'll be doing. V1 by I1 is equal to V2 by I2. Both are equal to resistance. So you don't have to go ahead and find out this value 15 unless they're asking. Okay. So if we use this, what will happen? It will be 60 by I1. What was I1? 4 will be equal to voltage was 120 and by I2. So when we do this calculation, what will happen? This and this will get cancelled 2 times. So I2 will be equal to 8. We get the same thing. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. This is a good thing to catch.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, okay, I think we don't have enough time to go through this question. Hold on, we'll go over to that later. If a 4 ohm resistance wire is doubled on it, not this one. Okay, we'll take up these 2 questions in the next class, okay? Or otherwise you try to do it on your own in home. Yeah, attempt these 2 questions in home and see what you understand. We'll discuss them anyway in the next class, but you should try, honestly. So in the next class, what we are going to learn is the resistance of a system of resistors. What does it mean? System of resistors means resistors normally will not be alone. There will not be only one resistance. Even in your home, you have a bulb also, fan also, TV, fridge, so many appliances are there, right? And all of them are connected through a wire. So every appliance is basically having different amount of resistances. So that's what one single resistance we represent by this symbol you had seen earlier in the class, right? This was a symbol of resistance. So if I have 2 different resistances, let's say R1 and R2, I can combine them like this. R1 here, and in the same line, I can connect R2 here also. I can combine like this. Or there is an option, I have R1 there, and let's call this as R2, and I can have a battery connected like this. So different combinations are possible, right? You see that? You can see that, right? So this means that resistors can be arranged in different ways. So what are those ways in which we can arrange these resistances, and what happens when we arrange in different ways? These things we'll learn in the next class. Okay, so anybody has any questions from today's class, whatever we have discussed so far?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So if nobody has
Sir,
any
I
questions?
sent that maths doubt to you, sir. Did you see that, sir?
No, I have not seen now. I was in the class. So
Okay, sir.
yeah, I'll see that question after the class. Okay.
Okay,
Or
sir.
otherwise, you have sent in WhatsApp?
Yes, sir. In WhatsApp only, sir.
Okay, hold on. Let me check. Okay. See, what minus v they have written, no, Niveda, over there?
Yes, sir. That's what I got confused, sir, because like we don't put minus in that place, no, sir.
Yes, yes. Normally we don't put that. There is no need to put that also. Even if they have put there, you don't need to do that. You can follow your normal method to do it. There is a
If you
possibility
do
that
it normal method, sir, you'll get the answer in negative, no, sir, in that place.
no, see, just because we get a negative answer, we on our own, we cannot go ahead and change any process, any rule. Always remember that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So even though we get a wrong answer, we cannot just go ahead and put minus sign just to change our answer. So that's not the right way. I'll go through that thing solution. It'll take some time, maybe a couple of minutes it'll take. So let's not do that now. We'll discuss that question in the next class. There's a possibility that it's a printing mistake, or maybe this they carried forward the minus
No,
from the.
sir. In many questions, they have done like that only, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'll see that then what they have done. Okay, there's no problem. There may be some different books use different approach to solve the same problems. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
we'll see that.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
Bye,
bye,
sir.
sir.
Bye bye. Good night, everybody.